Hello and welcome to biology. This video is Introduction to Biology and we'll go through the organisation and structure of the course. Biology is broken into 4 units of study. Unit 1 and 2 is generally studied in Year 11 and Units 3 and 4 is studied in Year 12. Unit 1 is all about cells and multicellular organisms. So we'll be looking at how cells are structured, what organelles make them up, how substances move in and out of cells, as well as some other important and vital information about cells before we move on to body systems that make up multicellular organisms. Unit 2 is about how those multicellular organisms maintain homeostasis or balance within their bodies. It then goes on to topic 2, which is all about infectious diseases and how they are transmitted through the population. Units 1 and 2 at Trinity will go from term 1 to term 3. At the end of term 3, you'll have your final assessment for Year 11 biology, and term 4 is the start of Year 12. We will begin Unit 3, biodiversity and the interconnectedness of life, in Year 11, term 4. In that unit, we will study biodiversity and why it's important, as well as ecosystem dynamics. That unit involves a field trip of some description where we go into the field and collect data. Unit 4 is also a Year 12 unit, and the topics are DNA, genes, and the continuity of life, and continuity of life on Earth, which is evolution. So Units 1 and 2 take 3 terms of Year 11, and Units 3 and 4 take 3 terms over term 4 Year 11, term 1, term 2, and then term 3 and term 4 of Year 12 are mostly exam revision for your external exam. The assessment that you'll be looking for Year 11 biology, you will have 5 assessment items this year: a data test, a research task, a student investigation, and a final exam. You'll also have in term 4 the first of the summative assessment items, which will count towards your QCE, which is the data test. The data test is worth 10% of the final grade. The research task is worth 20%, student experiment worth 20%, and your final exam for Year 11, and then again replicated next year in Year 12, is worth 50% of your final grade. So achieving well on that final exam is essential. Your data test will be the first piece of assessment, and that will be in term 1 of this term. Check my Unity for the exact dates. Everything is already confirmed, but we're just waiting on a few little things given that we're in lockdown at the moment. The data test focuses on your application of cognitions to stimulus materials that are provided. Usually those are graphs and tables full of information, and we're asking you questions about it. This is done under exam conditions. You'll have 60 minutes plus 10 minutes of perusal time to give your response. It is an unseen stimulus. We will give you similar or related material in class, and we'll do some practice ones, but the actual assessment item that you are given is unseen and unfamiliar. It is not a content exam. We are really looking at those cognitions. Can you analyze and interpret data? However, to make it a bit easier in Year 11, we only use content and concepts that are taken from weeks 1 to 6 of term 1, so that there's no unfamiliar concepts there that might trip you up. The next assessment item is a research task. We'll be completing that at the end of term 1, early term 2. It requires you to evaluate a claim and then collect secondary evidence. So textbooks, research journal articles, internet research, in order to evaluate whether the claim is correct or not, and what the evidence is supporting or negating it. You need to make sure that you are using standard research and referencing conventions for this one. You will be given 10 hours of class time, but it is an expectation that you will use your homework time as well to complete the task. Your final response needs to be a 1,500 to 2,000 word response, following a specific report structure. We will provide you with a template of that because QCAA is quite specific about how they like it to be structured. Assessment item number 3 is conducted in term 3, and it is an experiment, a student experiment. So you will be collecting data in class and then analysing and synthesising that information to come to conclusions. Again, you will need to do some background research, so referencing is important, but mostly what we're looking for here is the cognitions around taking data and extrapolating meaning to come to a final conclusion about what that data means. You're going to be given 10 hours of class time. This one includes the amount of time it takes you in class to design the experiment, collect all the data from your experiment, and then do your analysis, your graphing, and your write-up. So you are going to want to use home time for this one. Again, it is a 1,500 to 2,000 word response following a specified report genre structure, and we will provide you with a template that you can follow. Your last piece of assessment is a final exam worth 50% of the final grade. The examination is composed of 2 papers. Each exam paper goes for 90 minutes with 10 minutes of perusal time. And each paper has a range of different possible question types, including multiple choice, short response requiring a single word, a sentence, or a paragraph. Doing calculations using algorithms. We will always provide you with the formulas. In biology, you don't need to memorize formulas. It'll be right there on the page for you. We won't give you like in math where they give you a sheet of formulas and you've got to know which formula to apply for which. That's not biology. If it's required, it'll be right there on the page for you. Interpreting graphs, tables, or diagrams, responding to data or stimulus you've never seen before, and of course the dreaded extended response. But in biology, extended response is anywhere between 300 to 350 words, so that's not really very long. Preparing for success in biology means good organisation. Organisation is key for this subject. Preparing for class is the first step, making sure that you come to class with the necessary equipment. Your teachers are not walking filing cabinets or stationery supply stores. We won't be able to supply you with everything that you need if you turn up ill-prepared. So make sure you come to class with a pen or a pencil, a notebook to write in that is exclusively for biology. You will get through a lot of paper in this subject, okay? Fair warning. Don't think you're going to have one of those divided books where you've got biology at the front and then English, then history, then SOS. Not going to happen. Biology is going to take up that whole book, okay? Get one notebook, a nice thick notebook, and just dedicate that to biology and bring it along every lesson. You need to bring a fully charged laptop and you need to bring headphones. Headphones are essential for biology every lesson, particularly under the current climate where we're going to see a lot of absenteeism. Students will be sick or isolating. We're going to have a lot of videos prepared like this one so that you can effectively do some study from home if you are required to do so. Optional extras to pack in your suitcase to come to class: highlighters, flashcards, your mobile phone. Yes, we still need to follow the school guidelines as far as your mobile phone goes. I shouldn't see it. It shouldn't be out. You're not playing Angry Birds on it. But it is a really important tool for us, especially when we're doing experiments and recording data. So bringing it along is not a violation. It just needs to stay in your pencil case or your laptop bag. And of course, a calculator is always useful. Getting organized this week. This is your challenge for the very first lesson. Very first lesson, your job is to get organized. Get yourself sorted. So, step 1, ensure that you have all the equipment you need to come to class. Number 2, read the biology student handbook. The handbook has been uploaded onto our MyUnity site, so log into MyUnity, click biology, and front and center will be the first activity, which is to read the biology student handbook. It'll go through a lot of the information I've just done in a lot more detail about what is expected for you and how you're going to be assessed. Record the key due dates for each of those assessment items in your diary or planner. And of course, make sure that you can log in to MyUnity and your Oxford Digital textbook. Over the next few days, you'll be getting an email from Education Perfect as well with your login details. Education Perfect, if you haven't used it before, is an online learning platform. They'll go through videos and walkthroughs and then ask you a series of revision questions to prove that you have understood the content. It's a really important revision tool for biology. Make sure that you are completing the relevant activities each week. I expect that you will spend about half an hour per week on Education Perfect. For biology, because you have an exam worth 50%, ongoing revision is going to be really important. So getting organized for that now is the key to success. Completing the activities that we set you in class is only step one and ensures understanding. So each week or every second week, your teacher is going to be giving you little quizzes and questions and things either in Education Perfect or in MyUnity or in class on paper to prove that you have understood the information at the point of instruction. The point of instruction is you and me having a chat. I'm delivering the content. Have you understood what I said? That's step one. Step two is you then committing that to short-term memory. And you do that by making summary notes. And part of your book work is going to be every week, part of your homework will be to make a summary of the week's content. What did we learn in biology that week? When you do that, you should be not only consulting the notes you took in class or when you are watching the online video if we're at home, you should also be referencing your textbook, going back to the textbook and looking for more detail. Because the difference between a C student and an A student in biology is sometimes just how much detail you understand it in. But once you've got it committed to short-term memory, that's not so great if you've got an exam that covers the entire year's content, okay? You need to be able to convert that into a long-term memory. And to do that, flashcards is a really important way or an effective way of studying. Flashcard study is a form of active recall rather than passively reading your notes and mentally checking off that you understood the concept. With flashcards, you are being asked to recall information in random sequence at a much faster pace, simulating quite closely what you can expect to find in an exam scenario. Flashcards are more effectively used in groups, so collaboratively. So organizing a study buddy or a group of study buddies will really help you with your revision. Keeping on top of your flashcards is an ongoing weekly thing because every week we learn new concepts and every concept should have its own flashcard. You're going to be creating a deck of flashcards before your final exam, and we should be doing that from week one. When we start, I'll give you a little bit of time in class to make flashcards, but as we move on, there won't be time for you to make flashcards in class. That'll become part of your revision and ongoing revision program. Biology is an exciting and fun subject. We're going to do lots of experiments, we're going to do lots of field work outside, but it is also quite a heavy content-wise. So making sure that you are organized is going to make sure that you set yourself up for success right from the very beginning. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in video number 2, which will be our first content lesson for biology.